asking you to throw away the tape measure and silence the voice. And that is why it feels...
Okay. So we already solved this, but who cares? We'll just ignore that. Start again. Okay. Where's the bubble? Right. That's weird. Well, considering that, we have 7. Wow. And that makes 7 or 7. Unclear. 2, if considered, is unclear. 6 is here. Where did I say the 7 could be? No, that doesn't help. How about 1? Oh my god. Forget I asked. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Okay, what are those numbers at the top? And also, why don't I just start doing candidate and just do it? And also the question is, some people might ask, well, is candidate or is it not cheating? Oh, man. So we need a 3 somewhere. And a 9. And whatever else is in that block. If I would think of 4, I would think there's some places and whatever. Let's just choose candidate. I mean, the point usually is, can we go without candidate? And it's like, I don't even know if I can. I don't know if I can do it. I mean, I think even cracking the cryptic does the numbers, so whatever. Let's just go at it. Literally, 1 is everywhere. Bookkeeping this. Considering that 1 has to be on the bottom for this, I'm already getting an intuition that 1 cannot be on the bottom for this. So, slightly helpful. That's some information. Oh shit, I'm pressing the wrong numbers. That's 1. Let's go on to 2. Okay. 3. So someone might already have asked, and I've asked myself, what's the point of recording something that I'm not even doing remotely anything close to what cracking the cryptic does? They are, well, they're using mods, so I don't know how to get those. What kind of excuse is that? Or I can almost guarantee that I will label something improperly. Well, that's not a 9. Clearly. Or not label something correctly. So Oh my god, that's just a 6. Shut up. The hell's wrong with me? Moving on to 6. No. Wrong button. Okay, that's just a fucking just shush. Stop talking. Eight. Should first always consider to be aware of where 8 definitely cannot go. Before I go saying it can. Nine. I only hope I've labeled them all correctly, and then this should just be a 7. Oh look, I'm right. Yay. This is not a 7. This is not a 7. I find joy in this. Just imagine Dun, 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 dun. Okay. We got 4 in the wrong fucking spot. So that's great. Told you I'd mislabel things. Let's start second guessing everything now. Well, why not? Yes. Why not? There's gotta be something. Okay, so the number 1 is not in the bottom because these 1s are false. So I'm removing them from even the auto candidate, and then maybe that'll help me not have as much noise if I check things. It's warm now. If 1, 2, 3, then not 1, 3, right? That's logic. 8, not 8, not 8, not 8, so 7, 6, must label the not 7, so 7, 4, so not 4, 6, so not 6, okay. 2 free, 2 3 doesn't say anything to me. 9 doesn't say anything either. More considerations of 7? Well, that's a false 7, meaning that's a 7. There you go. That's a 7. This is not a 7. That's not a 7. Da, 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 da. Yay. Oh, right. Okay, if 8, 9, 3, 1, there's too many options, but 4, 5 are not one of them. Forcing 4 and 5 into some of these spaces. It doesn't give us enough. That's not 5. God damn it. That's not 4. Okay. Cool. Good. Great work. That's not a 4. That's not a 4. That's not a 4. Great. Excellent. Love that for me. Not for me. Ow. Oh, I just started cramping. Ah, frick. My freaking jaw. Oh, God, that was horrible. Oh, God, I hate that shit. 그래서 그랬으니 뭐라야 더 물어봐. 내가 그래서 물어봐. If 5, not 5. Not 5. Oh, for fuck's sakes, not 5. Because if there are no vertical 5s anymore, then this is not a 5. That forces this to be a 5. Because the other 5 has to be on the other side somewhere. In the other block. That apparently makes this a 3. These must also be not 3. Also, that's a straight up 9. Which forces this to not be a 9. Forces this 9. This is not a 5. This is not a 5. 4 and 2, 3. 5, 1, 3, 2. That's a little too many numbers. Or something. Oh, I wonder if everything's correct. No vertical 3. Not a 3. Not a 3. 5, 1, and 2 are taken. Not a 2. Not a 2. Is a 2. That makes this a 2. That makes this a 3. There's already been a 2. There's already been an 8, 1. Somewhere. So therefore this is a 4. That's a 6. This is not a 4. And we already know that those are not 6s. Who cares? This is not a 1. It's a 3. 3. This is a 1. This is not a 3. Not a 3. This is not a 1. Not a 1. That's a 2. That's a 3. That's not a 3. That's a 1. That's a 2. That's not a 1, 3. That's not a 1, 3. That's not a 1, that's a 4. That's not a 4. It's not a 4. That's not a 4, that's a 4. It's a 1. Whew. a 6. That's a 6. That's a 9. That's not a 9. That's a 5. That's not a 5. That's a 9. I've put in so many numbers I have to redo some writing of the what is, what isn't stuff. Like this is not a 5 or a 5. Dun, 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 dun. Considering there are 2's up here and there are not a 2 up here, also a 1, also a 1, also a 1, also not a 1 or an 8, not a 1 or an 8 or 3, that makes it a 2. That's a 9. That's not a 9. That's all correct so far. I think. Not a 4. It's not a 4. If 3, then 3. If 3, then 3. 8, then 8. 8, 1, 3, 8, 3, 8, 1. All of the numbers considered? Good question. It seems yes. Although it requires I answer no. Um, 5 vertical, 5 vertical, 8 vertical. There we go. That's not an 8. That's not an 8. That's an 8. That's a 1. Woo. That's not a 1, that's a 5. That's not a 5. That's not a 5. That's a 5. Those are not 5s. That's a 5. How is it ever still at this point not obvious what things are and are not? Should be obvious. That's a 4. That's a 3. That's not a 3. Or a 3. That's a 4. That's a 3. That's a 1. That's a 4. That's a 3. That's a 2. That's a 1. Woo. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's an 8. That's a 1. That's an 8. Whoa. Let's do it again. Only on hard, and you can suck my ass. Fuck's sakes. Why even would I do this? It's so... Here. Three. Four. 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 Or 4. But 4 cannot, so 4 cannot, so 4 or 4. We don't know which one. And that makes this is a 4. Doing the same old thing, working my brain the same old way. Gaining nothing, one might say. That's generous of them. Da, 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 da. Two. I should really watch Cracky again. They're neat. 3. Four. Five. Done. 6. 7. So, what's with me talking about science and sad trees and helpful mushrooms? Well, I mean, 8. Well, something's labeled wrong. Why are there only 6s there and nothing else? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, because there's 9 to do. The only 9 we know. If 6, 9, then not 6. If 2, 8 is true, then not 2. Other such similarities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that just a 6? I think that's just a 6, dude. Cool. I am roasting right now. Ah, shit. Well, I'm not used to usually wearing a sweater anyway, but it's like a cold sweat. Feels weird. It's gotten warmer, but that doesn't change the fact that the heater shouldn't make me any warmer than it ought to. I don't even care if I do this puzzle. What temperature is it in this room? It's set to 70-ish. That should be good enough. And everything else feels fine. I'm just wearing a sweater. So that was not fine, I guess. The wearing of sweater. What else do I have? More nines. Like everywhere. Shut the fuck up. Candidate nines. Well, why aren't they everywhere? They are. Oh, for fuck's sakes. God damn it. Wait. What does that mean? Just continue. So what do I think 6... Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's only 6 and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's only 9. Meaning not 9 or 6 and not 9 and not 9. Cool. Also not 6 or 9 throughout the block because they're already taken. Cool. 5, 2, not 5. And by similar, 9 must. Therefore 9 cannot. Other such rules are 1, 8 must. But 1, 8 already is not anywhere else in that block. Vertical 9. 7. Other 7s. Anything? There should not be a 6 here. Thanks for that. Me. Cool, me. Any randomly placed 4s I shouldn't have? Or 3s under the 3? No? Okay, cool. Now what? I probably need a shower. 2, 5. Didn't I make this? Oh god, this is the puzzle where I did a 5-2 pair in order to. I did a binary to solve this bitch. God frick. No wonder I'm having trouble. Shit the fuck up with this. Come on, man. I don't want to do a freaking binary to solve this. I resent doing that. Pick a path is so stupid. There must be something else I can do. Well, if I were to consider the numbers, they're everywhere. I would wonder about 8 and 1 and 8 and 1 happening here. But that is uncertain. Because 8's got to go somewhere else, elsewhere. If 6 is considered, call me later. Disregard. If 3 must, which we don't know, 3 can't, but we don't know. Inventory. 7, the 1, the 2. The 1, the hand. If the 1, other 1. The 9. And if I consider 8, 2, 9, and 8, 1, 8, 5, 2, then it's got to be an 8 somewhere in there. 5, it's not enough. Shit. Yeah, I literally, when I first solved this, I said 5, 2 pair, start the whole chain, and it all unraveled. Everything was just like, just fuck you, it's done. Is there any way that I can force that chain to be obvious or consequently wise? How did 5, 2... Also, which one was it? I don't know. Was it 2-5 or 5-2? I'm saying 5-2. I could be wrong. Well, if holy hell, damn it. Oh god, I'm drained. I've been contemplating what kind of life could exist in the beginning. And whatever. Why do I care? I don't think that the beginning is a question that I need to answer. I find it to be unfruitful to pursue that. Consider if it's a 2. Yota becomes a 5. Then we have to 2, 2, 2. And 5, 5, 5. Which forces 5. Which removes 5. Removes 5. It looks like the correct answer, at least just because I remember it, which means I'm cheating because I have a time loop. But I only remember that starting point. How it progresses from here, I don't know. And I genuinely don't remember if it was 5-2 or 2-5. You saw in the beginning what it was. Tell me in the comments. Meanwhile, that's a 2. 2, 2. 2. 7. Not a 7. Not a 7. Not a 7, not a 7. Why is that even a 7? It was never a 7. Are there enough numbers to tile this row? Good question. If 2, 3, 8, 6, where is the... Is that enough? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there are 5 numbers there. Okay, so the 4 has to be over there. wise. Oh, that friggin' jaw needs to shut the frick up. Holy hell. Ja bym go wychłopować, bo jeśli go podoba. Oh shit, I'm drained. That's not a 5. Wow. 8-1, 8-1, not an 8. Not an 8. That's cool. Good to know. Not 9-2, not a 2. Could never have been a 2 at that point. Anyway. But now it's not a 9. 9? 9. We call. If 6, then 6. If other than other thing. Something, 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 question mark. Nine, 6 pair. Not a 6, not a 6, not a 6. Is a 1. Is a 3, is a 5. Fuck's sakes. 5, not a 5. Not a 3, not a 3. Not a 3, not a 3. Now what? 3, 6, 5. If 8, 2, 6, 4, 3. 7. Not a 7, not a 7, not a 7. 4, 3. 3, not a 3. 8, 2, 6, not 8, 2, or 6. Not 8, 2, 6. Not 6. So 9. So 6. So 9. So 6. So not 6. Not 6. Yep. So 9. 7. 6. Not a 7. Not a 7. A 2. Never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This thing is a 6. It is a 6. 2, 1, 8. 1, 7. not 7. Not 7. How much noise have I not counted for? Speaking of 4, cool. Not 8. Not 8. Vertical is 8. Is not 8. Is 8. Who needs to put your lips together when you got teeth? Not a 1. 6. Not a 1. Is a 9. Not a 9. Yay. Not a 9. Not a 6. Not a 6. Not a 6. Not a 2. That's a 9. It's not a 9. 8. It's a 1. 8. That's a 1. Woo. That's not a 9. That's a 3. That's a 2. It's already been a 2. That's not a 9. That's a 5. That's a 2. That's not a 9. That's a 2. That's not a 9. That's not a 9. That's a 2. That's not a 9. 2, 5. What is it? 6. Why was 6 not labeled? Who cares? I figured it out. Yeah, there's the 6. That's not a 6. That's not a 6. Shucks. What's left? That's a 9. That's not a 9. That's not a 9. How is it still a binary? What It's left. That's not a 2. That's not a 2. That's a 5. That's not a 5. That's a 5. That's a 9. That's a 7. That's a 9. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's a fucking, I don't know. That's a 6. That's a 7. That's a 2. That's a 6. That's a 1. That's a 7. Yay.